Palm Police Department. Good morning, Sarge.
Hey, Hafide, good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
I guess
Good morning.
maybe we'll just first start with, we had the superintendent on, and he was talking about school break-ins.
We're still having issues with the knuckleheads, I see.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned that because we just, our detectives that are assigned to the curfew operations, and of course our juvenile investigators, we just closed the GW break-ins that I think started since the COVID and the break of COVID, and we tracked it for a 2-month span from April or March towards April. So we were able to bring some the individuals that were responsible for that in, and I believe some of them, the minors were actually charged as adults, to include a few adults that have been arrested. But he's correct. We're seeing an uptick in reports of school break-ins that are being reported. As school officials are reporting to their work sites, they're discovering that some of the classrooms have been tampered with or may have been broken into. But nonetheless, we're tracking that. We're moving forward and beefing up more, omnipresence within the community by putting more officers out on the beat, and of course with the added curfew operation task force, they've been actually out and about. So once we get more information about some of the school break-ins, we'll move forward with that. But with our detectives closing the GW case, I think that's really a big case because it included an arson and it included a slew of damages that exceeded over one classroom exceeded over $30,000, and this is just an estimate coming from our officers. So these guys are being charged for crimes against the community, and we want to prevent that, and we want to send a message out that when we put a finger and identify who are responsible, we're going to charge you with crimes against the community, and hopefully bring some restitution to the victims, which are the students and of course the community abroad.
Mm-hmm. Where are we with the death investigation that was launched?
We're still doing our the legwork of that case. With the discovery of the male individual, I believe over the weekend, moving into the weekday, our detectives have been working and really just trying to piece the pieces together, put everything together relative to this case. So we want to still protect the integrity of this case. So I met with them, or I made contact with our detectives just to get a brief as to where they are, and there's some interviews that they've been conducting, and just canvassing the area. So that's the legwork of this investigation. So picking up from where the discovery of the male, and of course finding out who's the last person in contact. These are some of the things that our detectives need to insert into the investigation.
Is foul play suspected, Sarge?
We don't know just yet. So again, I want to protect the integrity of this investigation. So once everything, picture is painted in this, and we find and we actually can provide answers, we'll move forward. The autopsy report, we're still waiting for that, and the autopsy to be performed. So there's some things that will lead us into showing the cause of death and of course the manner of death, and we can move in accordance with this case.
Do we know if the man is a resident of the area or homeless?
We're still tracking that. So like I said, these are the legworks that the investigators need to perform as part of piecing everything together.
Right. What about this Talafofo incident, Sarge? We're going to pop up. The video went viral.
Yes.
It kind of looked like a domestic situation. I'm not really sure. Watching the video, I got a headache because I don't. And then there was the picture that went out, and this was the same truck in the video with a ton of guns, a bunch of rifles, a couple handguns. Can you tell us anything about maybe the response to this call and anything at all?
So pretty much what was released by the Guam Police Department, and I also believe to the magistrate reports. It was a disturbance that happened at a home in Talafofo. That involved the arrestee, Mr. Perez, and of course his significant half, his girlfriend at the time, I believe. And was just really that's just pretty much domestic violence that it's caught on camera and everything, and we usually classify domestic violence as a crime within confined and closed doors, and it just so happened that somebody near a bystander was able to capture this, and seeing what was depicted in the video was pretty much what was presented to our investigators or our officers who responded. We did afford medical care. Being a crash investigator, that is a high impact, and there's bound to be injuries. So
right, that was Sarge. You know what I thought? I mean, so basically, what we saw in the video is the guy backed up and was like going into the car with the girlfriend and I believe a teenager and ramming it. I mean, how many was there? Like 3 or 4
rams?
Multiple times,
yeah.
I believe, and I think the court documents had stated 4 times. So
yeah, and so I saw that you guys had charged him with some pretty serious things that the AG didn't put in the Maggies.
Right. He was arrested, and then they charged only with the.
Yeah, it's the charges that the AG saw fit that that constitutes with the crime and everything. Aggravated assault and assault with a motor vehicle is pretty much the same in one in definition. So
no attempted murder. I didn't see it.
Yeah. So you guys
we put that our officers felt that the intent and everything, and at the time was really it's that gray line, and we sort of say with the judiciary side and everything. So we work closely with our prosecutors. It's hand in hand. We put the pen to paper with the report, and of course they present it to the courts, and this is the rights to due process, and it really is the rights to due process. So our partners with the prosecutors, they saw fit that attempted murder would be suffice with the crime that was committed. But
right, I mean, Sarge, in looking at this, and obviously the arresting officers with the attempted murder charge, this could have went all kinds of worse, right?
It could have went south. It's the what ifs and everything that comes into play, but it's really the facts that happen and the facts that occur that we as the Guam Police, as a reporting agency, and I want to stress that we are the reporting agency. 90% of police work is really putting pen to paper and just reporting crimes and bringing forth the charges, and it's really working closely with the agency and getting the prosecution. So and getting that conviction every time we make an arrest, and we stress that to all our officers. In the ranks, the ultimate goal of making an arrest is getting that conviction. So, when
it's frustrating though, because we've seen this from the AG, especially during the COVID. We had the story that remember the guys who were up there in Dedido and they threw the hollow block through the window, and they had threatened to kill the victim, and then the AG turned around and released them from jail. So. It's very frustrating when you guys do your job and you do it in a way that, you guys know what you're doing. And especially in this case where you have, the guy got in the car and was ramming the vehicle with the family, and you're right, they could have died, it could have been way worse. And obviously it was premeditated. So, I'm not a lawyer, and of course when we had the AG on here.
Oh, I remember that.
The vibe was that, you guys aren't lawyers, so you don't understand. But I still think that,
You didn't see the police report.
Yeah, we live in a free world where we're allowed to say our opinion out. So I just want to say I'm annoyed that you guys continually to go out here risking everything that you do, and you make the arrest, you make the bust. And then, when it gets over to the AG's office, it's like, well, now we're going to charge him with that, and we're going to release him, and it's just, to me, it's not, I know you guys are saying you're working hand in hand, but
it's that relationship that we still have with the AGs and the prosecuting side. It's really the optics of the community, and of course being in the front line and working closely with them. It's really it's providing the safety first of the victims. That's the whole judiciary side. It's really giving that safety, making sure that the victim gets their justice and everything, and of course again, it's really gaining that conviction. Any arrest that we make, we want to make sure that we can get the conviction. That's the ultimate goal. as a police officer. And
Mm-hmm.
in order for us to garner that conviction, we have to make sure that, we dot our I's, cross our T's, and put the charges in which
Yeah.
they for an arrest.
Right.
So,
So are you saying that you guys didn't dot your I's and cross your T's when he was arrested? And this is what came out in the release. He was arrested for attempted murder, aggravated assault, family violence, child abuse, reckless conduct, burglary, possession of a firearm without a valid firearms ID, reckless driving, no driver's license, possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. What he was charged with in the magistrate's complaint was aggravated assault as a third-degree felony, family violence, possession of a firearm without a firearms ID. I don't see
Yeah, what happened? I mean, last time we had the
drug
AG
charge
on,
here,
he threw
or
you
the
guys
child
under the
abuse.
bus, and he was like, "Yeah, the cops messed up the report."
or the burglary.
No, it's there's a lot of stuff that's going to come into play, and again, there's the procedures again where we lay the charges out, and it's really the prosecution side that okay, this is justifiable, and everything, and maybe we can bring it down and we can move forward with an aggravated, so we paint the picture, and of course we they come in and it's really dissecting.
You guys paint the picture, and they come in and erase it.
You didn't really have to paint much of a picture. Wasn't there a video?
I know. I'm just saying, if I'm a lawyer, and I'm not, if I'm a prosecutor, I mean, how hard is it? You watch any lawyer show, they're in there with the video, and they're like, "You see what he did here? He was trying to kill him."
Yeah.
And then there's so many other charges that aren't even included. It is what it is.
It's really moving forward. There's going to be, he's going to have his day in court. It's going to the facts, the findings, the evidence, the viral video will be presented in court and everything. And it's really the duty of both, the arresting officer, the agency, the reporting agency, and of course the prosecution, and working closely together in garnering that conviction. So once we move forward and he gets his day in court, and the goal again is really to provide the safety and to prevent this. If this is a family violence incident, maybe we need that time. Maybe the both the victim and the suspect need a time of separation. Maybe they need that the protective order to assure their safety. Maybe we need to and moving forward, if once we have this presented in court and the judge sees fit and it's tried by the jury, we get a conviction. That's where we can provide the assurance of the community that we are doing our job in both the Guam Police Department side and of course the AG side in gaining that conviction. And that's where we strive in working in our relationship closely with the AG's office.
All right, so let's just charge them based on what we can prove, video or no video.
It almost seems like it's the easy way out, right?
Well, when it presents itself in court, again,
I know, Sarge, you're being so classy right now. I have a feeling like I know what you really want to say, because I've talked to the cops who arrest people, and then they throw the book at them, rightfully so, because we're trying to send a message out here, and then it's like they get charged with the jaywalking is a 4th-degree misdemeanor, credit for time served. Wait, this guy tried to ram his car and to kill people. He had like 28 guns. He had a whole armory with no... All right, Sarge.
We'll move forward with that.
Yeah, move forward. Right on.
Before we let you go, I did want to ask about, we had a peaceful demonstration on Monday or Tuesday it was, and then there's another one coming up on Friday. There's actually two, one at the ITC intersection and the other one at Chief Kapua Loop. And we spoke with one of the organizers, Nola, yesterday, and she was telling us that she was going to be meeting with the Guam Police Department yesterday. Can you tell us about what happened and maybe if we're going to see GPD involved?
We've yet to. This is Miss Nola Hicks,
yes,
the coordinator of the demonstration. No, according to we haven't had any communications with them. So we did see I saw some pictures that were circulating to social media of the protest, and I want to commend the people that organized that as really peaceful, and that was a really well organized event. But as for meeting with the Guam Police Department and of course the Ms. Nola Hicks, we've yet to make any contact or any form of communication was made to the Guam Police Department regarding this. But I
don't think even really a meeting needs to be held. I think if GPD wants to make a statement, they're more than free to act on their own.
You know, we've done we kind of waves and unity waves. You know, one was really the one when we actually partnered with our community partners with Maniatlo 4-H, and if you guys remember the machete incident at the University of Guam.
Yeah.
You know, it was a real bashing in our FSM families and everything, and it was really something in which we needed to, you know, make a stand and, you know, send a message that, you know, the actions of one certain individual, it's not a reflection of an entire community. Right. So when we organized that peaceful wave, or the wave, unity wave, it was in you know, midst of all the town hall meetings that they had within the various communities about.
God, that seems like so long ago, Sarge.
Yeah, that was last year. That was actually last year, right before 4th of July, you know, the 4th of July weekend. Yeah. So we had over 500, you know, FSM families standing there along Route 1, and right after that, we went in and we had the town hall meeting, and you know, we really stood in solidarity with our FSM communities, and you know, that was one aspect in which the Guam Police Department, and of course with all the other initiatives, but. You know,
so you don't know if you guys are going to be standing in solidarity with the peaceful demonstrators who are going to be showing their support for Black Lives Matter on Friday.
You know, we would like to, you know, I guess it should start with the first dialogue and communication. Okay. If she said that she's going to reach out to the Guam Police Department, you know, the chief's office, you know, is more than willing to sit down and have a, you know, start from there. See, right on. You know, where they're going. And I do want to commend the, you know, the efforts that they put out. It was really peaceful, and it was really well coordinated, and you know, we appreciate that from, you know, from this standpoint of where we are here in this island, right, and what's happening abroad in the United States, and you know, it's really it's something, and you know,
I gotta say, Sarge, I'm glad that we don't see the kind of stuff that we see in the States from the law enforcement here on Guam. I mean, I know we've had our share of bumps in the roads, but you know, by and large, I don't recall anybody putting their knee to someone's neck. You know what I mean?
I've seen, you know, maybe never mind.
We've worked at really diversifying our police department. You know.
Hey, that was an open palm strike. Okay.
We have members with the LBG, you know, community. We have members, you know, from various different ethnicity with, you know, within the ranks, and it's really, you know, the training that we've had, you know, just the different types of, you know, I mean, it's really the thing that, you know, somebody asked me what's different from here compared to back there is that we have culture, and I think culture plays a very significant role because there's an understanding, and there's always that line of respect when you have culture. So, you know, being from a Pacific Island and the heritage that we have as Pacific Islanders, I think the culture that we have as both, you know, Pacific Islanders is really the line of respect. So, right, you know,
Viva the culture!
Right. Yeah, you got to perpetuate the culture. So,
Amen.
You know, that's one of the things that, you know, we have that separates us from the, you know, abroad and our stateside counterparts. But, you know,
being perpetuators keeps you from being perpetrators. Right. Sarge, we gotta run. But thank you, man, for your time, and thank you for hanging in there with all those tough questions about the charges on this case. And
I appreciate it, and just on one note, you know, again, I know the superintendent has spoken about the school break-ins, and you know, we've reached out to our area commanders with the neighborhood watch program. I know because of the pandemic and what's going on, you know, we're going to be working at, you know, strengthening our neighborhood watch groups with more information about how they can safeguard our, you know, our community assets such as the school. So, you know, we're going to continue to work towards that. So, you know, that's where, you know, we're going to be moving forward to work with the summertime of the operations. So take care. You know, God bless. Everybody stay safe.
Algomas. Thank you, Sarge. Wash your hands.
I will.
Okay. All right. 9:39. Hey, let's bring Nessa Lecanto in. As you know, we also heard from Adriana earlier. So, Nessa, you got a new episode of In Full Zoom?
Yeah. Thanks, Bree and Chris, for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about In Full Zoom. As you know, it's all about getting some local business